Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Story Time Online. Today we're going to read The Ugly Duckling by Hans Christian Andersen. One summer long ago, when the golden corn had ripened in the fields, a mother duck settled down by the river bank on her nest of eggs. She sat very patiently until suddenly she heard a noise. One of the eggshells began to crack, then another and another. Soon, one by one, tiny heads poked out. Went the little ducklings, and they looked around. Soon, all of the eggs had hatched, except for one. This egg was much larger than the others. Maybe it's a turkey egg, thought the mother duck, settling back down to keep it warm. Some time later, there was a soft cracking sound. It got louder and louder until suddenly a fluffy head poked out of the egg, then a body. This duckling was not at all like the others. It was very large, gray, and ugly. Maybe it's a turkey after all, said the mother duck. Let's see if it can swim. She watched as one after another the ducklings plopped into the water with a splash. The ducklings had a lovely time practicing their swimming. They dived, quacked, and splashed, but the little gray duckling hid shyly in the reeds. So the mother duck decided that it was time for them all to meet the animals in the farmyard. I shall see what they think of my new family, she thought, and she waddled up the bank, with all the ducklings following behind her. In the farmyard, the hens and geese looked at the new arrivals. "What's that one at the end?" they cried, laughing. "He looks so ugly." The other farm animals all gathered round. They too thought the duckling was very ugly. They didn't like him at all. From then on, the poor little duckling was pushed, bitten, and made fun of. After a while, his brothers and sisters began to bully him, and even his mother began to ignore him. "You're so ugly," they cried. The ugly duckling was chased this way and that. The other ducks pecked him so much that he ran away from the farm as fast as his little legs could carry him. The sad little duckling hid in the thick reeds of the marshes where no one would see him. Soon, the hunters with fierce dogs came along, but they did not hurt him. "Even they think I'm too ugly to bite," he said. Eventually, the poor little duckling decided to leave the marsh and walk over the fields. He walked a very long way and was hungry and tired when he came to a little cottage by a wood where an old woman lived. "Come in," she told him, thinking the duckling could lay eggs for her. So she let him stay with her and her pet cat and hen. For some time, the little duckling was happy in the old woman's cottage. Then, one day, he felt the urge to swim. "No, you mustn't," said the cat and the hen. "You should forget all about swimming and be just like us." The ugly duckling couldn't purr like the cat. or quack like the hen. I don't belong here after all, he thought sadly, and so he left the little cottage. The ugly little duckling returned to the river where he belonged, and he swam and dived as his family had. The other animals avoided him because of his ugliness, and he was very lonely. One day, a flock of beautiful white birds flew across the sky. Their dazzling beauty made the ugly duckling's heart leap, and a longing stirred in him that he could not explain, but he had no one to tell. Soon, the bitter cold of winter fell upon the land. The reeds and river froze, and the ugly duckling was trapped by ice and snow. Luckily for him, a kind man was passing by. He pulled the shivering duckling from the ice and took him home. "Look what I found in the river," the man said to his children. The man sat the duckling down by the fire, and the heat made him feel warm and safe. The man's children were very excited. They wanted to play with the ugly duckling, but the poor creature was very afraid. He flapped his wings as the children chased him around. First, the ugly duckling upset the milk bucket, then he knocked into a sack of corn. "Stop! Stop!" screeched the man's wife. The poor duckling was so frightened, he ran out through the open door into the falling snow. Somehow, the ugly duckling survived the long dark winter, and when spring came, all of the frozen ponds melted with the first rays of sunshine. The ugly duckling was still sad and longed for a friend, so he approached a crystal clear pond and saw a family of the most beautiful birds. He remembered seeing them once before, and suddenly one of them glided gracefully over to the ugly duckling. He waited for the first cruel words, just as he had come to expect from all the other creatures he had met. My, said the graceful swan, your feathers are the whitest I have ever seen. How they gleam in the sun. Confused, the ugly duckling looked down in the rippling water and saw his own reflection. Much to his surprise, it wasn't that of a gray ugly duckling, but a graceful gleaming swan. At last, he had found where he belonged. Never again would he be seen as the ugly duckling, for now he was truly a beautiful swan. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story for today. If so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Always be happy and safe. See you next time with a new story. See you. Bye.